Welcome to the HVAC Business Growth Podcast. Is your business getting beaten by the competition or your profits dwindling? It's time to kickstart your HVAC business. Here's your host, Nick Balowski.
Hello everybody, welcome to the HVAC Business Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Balowski. We've got a great episode lined up for you today. The topic for today's podcast is on market leadership. So I think this is a good addition to what we spoke about a little bit earlier in the week, or last week actually, with our 2013 pep talk. So the idea of market leadership is really that you just don't want to be floating along. You just want to be a market leader, and you want to be the preeminent source for business services and information in your market. So ideally you want to be an influencer in your particular market. So whether it's local or whether it's national, or whether you're actually niched into something like hydronic heating or residential air conditioning or whatever it might be, the idea is to be an influencer and to be a leader in your market. So what are the advantages of market leadership? So the first thing that I can see is that you actually get to set the buying criteria for your niche. So you can make them realize that you are the best solution to their needs. To begin with though, this often involves a little bit of education, and the upside to it though is that they can actually make some better decisions, and they can work out that the decisions go in your favor. So I see that as a tremendous advantage to practicing market leadership. But setting the buying criteria can only happen after the fact though. You can't just waltz into a market and tell people what to do. You need to create some content, get a little bit of trust in the market, and then you can start setting the buying criteria for people. The second advantage of market leadership that I see is that you're actually less sensitive to changes in the market, because in a sense you're actually running your own show. Your own marketing and positioning dictates actually how busy you want to be. The market doesn't dictate how busy you are. So I think it's a really powerful position to be in, and they're just two of the advantages that I see for practicing market leadership. You might see some more than what I do. So you might be thinking now, oh God, I'm not actually practicing market leadership. I'm just sort of floating along and business is just running on the tide of the market. The good news is that if you're not practicing market leadership, you can be up and running in about 90 days and getting some really good results. So 90 days is just a rough number here. You can be up and going a little bit quicker. Some markets can take a little bit longer to penetrate. So how do you actually penetrate a market and become a leader? But basically what you need to do is produce content and education material on a regular basis. How regular? Well, daily is best. It's like what I said in the social media episode. You need to give this some daily attention. And the good thing is as well that the social media side of things actually integrates really well with market leadership. If you're using Facebook or Twitter on a daily basis and actually providing some good information to your Facebook fans or your Twitter followers or whatever other platform that you're currently using, then that's market leadership in my book. So one word of caution though, progress is actually really slow at first, and it becomes hard to see results for the uneducated people. So I like to think of it like the tennis ranking. So just say you're actually ranked number 200 in the world, and in 60 days you improve your rank to number 70 in the world. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But unfortunately the general public only see the top 10 or the top 20 players, and they don't see the up-and-coming talent from outside the top 20. So in 60 days, you've made some real progress, but it seems like you're actually getting a small return on investment. Because if you were number 70 in the tennis rankings, you might have won a couple of small satellite events, but you're not actually doing well at the Grand Slams. But in 90 days, you can actually make a real impact with some commitment. So the hardest part is actually getting started in this. So in the tennis example that we're just talking about there, you can drop your ranking down from 70 into the top 20, but all of the progress has actually come early. All the momentum was actually gained in that initial effort that you put in. So a key part to actually being a market leader is that you need to have a unique selling proposition. So have you actually listened to episode 6 yet on the unique selling proposition? If you haven't, you need to go and do that now. after you finish listening to this podcast, of course. So you need to have a unique position in the market, because leaders actually take unique positions and followers actually copy other people and don't offer a unique voice to the conversation at all. So we need to look at producing some content and actually getting your ideas out there. So let's just brainstorm a few ideas for content. So you could actually start a podcast like this one that I'm doing now. Plenty of work involved, but definitely possible. Other things you can do are to create blog posts. So if your business website doesn't have a blog, I suggest you put that really high on the to-do list for this week. You can also create some articles which are generally a little bit longer than blog posts and are more research-based. They can be really good. You can also get other people to write articles for you as well. We can go into that in another episode. You can create some research papers. So if you're discovering things in your business or there's things that you'd like to actually research, you can commission the research to happen and then actually publish the results and make it available either to the consumers if you're in the residential market, or make it available to your fellow competitors or fellow businesses in your industry. You can also create catalogs or magalogs. You can operate your own magazine if it's worthwhile in a particular niche. Videos are fantastic, and you can also do interviews as well. So one approach that I really like from a content point of view is actually to take the news reporter type of approach. And what you can do is actually tell your market what is actually going on in your market, very much like a news reporter would. So you could actually tell your market about any new systems. So you might let your market know that Bonaire have actually released a new ducted heating system, and then you could introduce the new features and the benefits from there. So this news reporter type of approach again ties in really well with the social media side of things that we discussed on an earlier podcast, where you can be letting your market know via Twitter, via Facebook, and sharing links and sharing information with your market. So the news reporter approach ties in really well into market leadership. So now we've got some ideas for content. What we need to do now is actually start the PR machine. And this is where I think you'll get a really good vision for and see how things come full circle. So we want you to get out there and launch some new products, launch new services, engage your market, release the information that you've created either via video or via interviews. And I want you to give things away freely and don't actually hide any of the information that you're producing. So from here, create your press releases and actually let the local media know, or let the national media know about what you're doing. It obviously depends on what sort of content you're producing, how wide you want to distribute it. But the real trick with the publicity side of things is to actually be consistent. So being consistent is really the secret that actually makes this whole thing work. So in the online marketing circles, they have almost games, I guess you could say, where they call it Market Leadership 365. So that means they're practicing market leadership 365 days of the year. So it's every day. They're not taking a break from it. They're not getting a little bit of momentum up after 3 weeks and then giving it up. They're actually being consistent with it on a daily basis. So now it's time for the HVACbusinessgrowth.com tip of the week. So this week's tip of the week is basically, where do we start with this market leadership? So I think the best place to start is, provided you've got a unique selling proposition, video is a fantastic place to start. Most people have an iPhone or some sort of recording device where they can record a pretty good standard of video. We don't need to go out and get professional level cameras or anything like that. We can just start with an iPhone. So what I want you to do is actually start by writing down 20 frequently asked questions that you get asked a lot in your business. So hopefully these are questions by the customers, or just questions that you see in your market that are getting asked a lot and don't really have any good answers to them. So what you're going to do is actually answer each frequently asked question with a short video, and these videos are going to last anywhere from around 30 seconds to 3 minutes. On YouTube, most people have really good attention span from the 30 seconds into that 3-minute range. If it starts to creep above 3 minutes, then you start to lose a lot of people. So that length, I reckon, is fantastic. So what we're going to do is put these videos that we produce onto YouTube, and then we're going to embed them into your own site. So out of the 20 frequently asked question videos, I want you to release one video per day and announce each video on social media. So there I'm talking about Facebook and Twitter or whatever other channels that you actually use, maybe Google Plus as well. And then let the local press know that you're actually doing a series in your market. So this applies if you're doing residential promotion, or you might even let the industry association know via their website or their news service if you're actually working in the industrial sector. So basically you've got to produce the content and then go about actually spreading the news to the best of your ability. So that's the tip of the week, to get started with video. So that's all we've got time for today. Thanks for listening to the HVAC Business Growth podcast. If you have any questions about the show, just leave them in the comments on the website. If you want to leave some positive feedback for me, head over to iTunes, or again, go back to the website and just leave a friendly comment and let us know what you thought about the show. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.
This has been another edition of the HVAC Business Growth Podcast. For more marketing tips and strategies, go to the website hvacbusinessgrowth.com.